Williams is a Portland real estate legend. He's the man behind creating the Pearl District and development of the South Waterfront. Williams is also founder of the homeless shelter and services organization, Harbor of Hope, and is outspoken about how the business community can help with our homeless problem. Homer Williams, thanks for joining Eye on Northwest Politics.
You betcha.
Now, we talked to you briefly last week about our project Kids Speak Out, which you're sponsoring, where young people talk about the issues they face. Why did you want to get involved in that project?
Well, you know, it's kids will speak the truth. And, you know, frankly, I have trouble with a lot of their parents because I don't think they know what the hell's going on. And so a good friend of mine had done a program during COVID, Kids Speak Out around the world. And it was all done on Zoom, and you had kids from all over the world. And it was the UN and UNICEF had backed it. And, you know, it was very successful. And I just called Barbara up and said, look, I'd like to do that in Oregon.
Yeah, Barbara is the host of the show.
Yes, and, you know, Oregon Harbor of Hope, we'll figure out how we can get that done. And so actually then I called Tom in your shop.
Tom Keeler, who's our general manager, and he said yes. And
I'm getting ready we had a whole pitch, and after about 10 minutes, he just said, we're all in.
Okay. It's 10 weeks. It's a series, 10 weeks, airs every Thursday on Coin TV, and you can go to our website and learn about it. Let's talk about the homeless. What does your organization, Harbor of Hope, do, and how many people does it serve?
Well, let's talk about what we do. We don't employ a lot of people, but we try to be, we try to create things that can scale, and then we can move out. So a prime example of that would be, well, the Navigation Center. We built the Navigation Center. We don't operate it, but we were able to raise the money to build it. Tim Boyle and his wife, actually, over $3 million.
Tim Boyle of Columbia Sportswear.
Yes, you know, Tim's very, very generous, he and his wife. And so then I made an effort I was impressed with what I had seen on a business trip to San Antonio. And this is what got me involved in this whole homeless thing. And so what I realized was that some of the thoughts that I wanted to bring here, it just really wasn't going to happen. I wasn't part of the system.
Well, let's talk about that. You know, you were impressed by what you saw in San Antonio, and you talk about the system, and you mentioned the term homeless industrial complex. What does that mean to you, and how does that apply to us here in Portland?
I think that it's a description of what evolved out of the joint office, frankly. And what I found was that, first of all, we don't know who our homeless people are. We just don't. And unless you do know, and I mean you know their name, and you know where their tent is, I mean, you really know who these people are, you're not going to be able to help them.
And you're talking about helping them in terms of getting them into the services they need.
Yes.
Basically like triage in a medical sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you say we're not doing that now.
No, no.
What do you think about the daytime camping ban approved by City Council this week?
anything without a overall effort on many fronts, I don't think is going to work. I think that I know what Ted's trying to do, but if for that to have a chance to work, these larger villages are necessary. You can't just tell somebody you can't stay here during the day. Well, then where are they going to go? And where do you think that they're going to go to the bathroom? Where do you think? I mean, people don't think through the actual logistics of what it's like to live the life on the street.
And that was part of Carmen Rubio. Commissioner Rubio was the only one who voted no on that, and that was her argument. That is like, okay, if we ban camping on the streets, then where do they go during the course of the day?
Exactly, and you know,
and we haven't set up that infrastructure yet, correct?
No, we haven't. And I have to tell you, I've been really impressed with Commissioner Rubio. She has had everything dumped on, you know, I mean, she's got the Housing Bureau, she's got Prosper Portland, she has planning, this woman has a big plate. But from what I've seen, she's all in, you know, trying to learn. She's not a natural, didn't grow up in real estate or anything like that. So, you know, she's been, I've been really impressed. I think the world of her, frankly.
What's the business community's role in helping to solve the homeless crisis in Portland?
Well, there's not a role, in the sense that it's really unfortunate, but you know, the business community doesn't trust the city. The city doesn't trust the business, and especially the staff. I mean, you know, and you really have to look at how this has evolved. You know, there was a time when the city, this is the city that works. This is the city, you know, the first urban streetcar in 50 years, the first urban tram in 50 years. You know, we've done really groundbreaking stuff until we don't, and we can't.
And in your opinion, we're stalled on that right now, correct?
We will never get back to those kind of days. The secret sauce in Portland was the Portland Development Commission. And we once the electeds got the checkbook and the Housing Bureau, that was the end of PDC.
And which is now Prosper Portland. It's
Yes.
kind of morphed into Prosper Portland. We have about a minute left, Homer, and I want to ask you about the new Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Our next segment, we'll be speaking with the general manager of the Ritz-Carlton, Marie Brown. But what are your thoughts about the Ritz-Carlton and whether it could help with the resurgence of downtown Portland?
Well, I mean, everybody in Portland should kneel down every night and say a prayer for the success of the Ritz. Walt Bowen has made a huge bet. The city is the beneficiary. Unfortunately, the timing, which is so important in real estate, is working against them. But they're going to finish it. It's going to be, I mean, it's going to be the one really big positive statement that Portland is going to be making in a long time.
Well, that's what we'll be talking about. Homer Williams, thank you very much for being here on Eye on Northwest Politics. I appreciate it.
All right.